Vicky Marie. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are in this crazy, crazy world we're living in. Thank God we've got each other, we know there are nice people in this world. So I'm going to talk about a few things in this video. For those of you who don't know me, if you're new to my channel, either maybe you're watching on the Spanish and English channel, maybe you're watching on the True Crime channel. But thank you for watching anyway. My name is Vicky Marie. I am based in mainland Spain, in Europe. And I mainly talk about crime, but I also teach Spanish. I'm a Spanish teacher. I do quite a few different things. But the main thing that I do as far as YouTube is concerned is we discuss crime stories, etc. of the moment, or cases from previously, cases that are unresolved, cases that are solved, missing people. We talk about lots of different things, don't we, on this channel. And in this particular video, we're going to talk about, unfortunately, it just seems at the moment, I don't really like talking about children's cases because they're so upsetting. And this will be upsetting. We're going to talk about the latest on Travis Decker, this POS father who killed these three beautiful little girls. And that's the oldest one, Peyton. She was 9. And then we've got the middle child, Evelyn, who was 8. And Olivia, who was 5. And this POS literally, he killed these 3 girls. And he is missing. Nobody knows where he is. Where is this POS? When are they going to find him? Either bring him to justice, or maybe he's taken his own life somewhere, but he has not been found, and it's been quite a long time. So we're going to look at the latest on that case. Then, of course, a case that's right in the, and I have to warn you, this is going to upset you, because this is a baby, 7-month-old baby, Emmanuel, who his lovely mother said was kidnapped. And the more time goes on, the more likely it seems that the POS father did something to Emmanuel, and the mother's covering up for him for whatever reason. And what we're finding out about Jake, Emmanuel's so-called father, is in fact he's done it before. He's hurt children before. One of his own children, left them with life-changing injuries, brain damage, blind. He's got history. How was he ever allowed to be around children again after the last time? How was he? What is it in societies, capitalist societies? They do not value children. They can talk the talk. Oh, children special, this, that, and the other. And the children are our future. They don't care about anybody who doesn't produce. So children, when they're little, before they're working or they're contributing to capitalist society, they don't have the same, they're not protected. They talk about child protective services or this, that, or the other. How many times does it? It's always a problem that people want to pass on, because nobody knows how to cope with it. And this is really, in my opinion, what's happened to Emmanuel. He's been let down, not only by his father. I mean, we don't know for sure yet if Jake has done anything to him, but come on. I think most people are thinking the same thing, even the police. But what we do know is that his piece of POS father has hurt a baby before, and was allowed to have children around him again. So what we do know is it's not only Jake who's guilty, it's the protective services that are guilty, and the mother, of course, who's probably terrified of Jake. Anyway, we're going to look at that, but I need to warn you about that. The details you're going to hear of the previous child that Jake abused. And of course, we only can say allegedly as far as Emmanuel is concerned. That will upset you and make you cry. It made me cry this morning when I was watching the information. So before that, we're going to talk about, before we talk about both of, I just think, God, so many people just literally want, desperate to have children, who make such good parents. And he's got 6 children. God, can't they castrate these people? It's literally, if you abuse a child, especially, it's bad enough to abuse a child, isn't it? Or hurt a child. Your own flesh and blood, your own child should be castrated, chemically, maybe, or maybe not. I don't know. Honestly, I just think, what do you do? Just let them keep on having children and then to kill, what is it? Just like, more psychopath fodder. These people should not be, after they've, obviously you can't just go around sterilizing people just because they look like they might do something. But, someone like Jake, proven record of strangling a baby and leaving this baby with life-changing injuries and then being allowed to have other children around other children. Just ridiculous. Anyway, I won't vent yet. I'll vent later because I've got a couple of So I've got some good. Let me say thank you to everyone first of all. Thank you for watching. Thank you for liking. Thank you for subscribing. Not only on my crime channel but on my Spanish and English channel. Thank you so much. And special thank you because over on my Spanish and English channel, I've just hit 3,000 subscribers. Thank you so much. Now, I know I'm always banging on about, please like, please subscribe. But literally, these are really good ways you can help my channels. And they're free, Some people become members, which is brilliant. I'm so grateful for my members. But if I know times are hard, but subscribing is free. Liking the video is free. Sharing the video is free. Watching the video is free. So these are all ways. If you like my channel, if you don't like my channel, well, that's fine. Go watch another one. But if you do, please help by liking, subscribing, sharing, etc. And thank you so much. I'm so grateful for all of you that have done that. In fact, I'm going to put on my little thank you. Yeah. Now, as far as my crime channel is concerned, now, you may be watching on the Spanish channel or you may be watching on the crime channel, because over on my Spanish and English channel, my subscribers, they like a little bit of the crime. I've noticed sometimes they watch more when I put a video on about crime than they do when I put a video on about learning English or Spanish. So, please subscribe to both those channels. Again, it's free. And over on my crime channel, I'm hoping to get to 5,000 subscribers before too long. Now, when I was on here before, as it always happens just before a live, all the tech went weird. So I'm going to have to get up again the videos and things that I was going to show you, because I had everything organized as always. God, it does drive me mad when that happens. Get everything organized and then the bloody, the mic went off, the camera went off, I had to turn my computer off and back on again. And then, of course, I lost everything that I'd prepared. So I'm just getting that back up. Now, if you are watching for the first time, there's always a bit of waffle. When I do a live video, there's always a bit of waffle at the beginning. If you don't like the waffle, that's fine. I will release this video later, just put it out without the waffle. Or just go and make yourself a cup of tea. I will be finished with the waffle sooner or later. I've just got to, and I would have had this all organised. Now, I know I keep saying it, and people probably think I'm mad, but I swear Ted Bundy is haunting me. And in the members tonight, I'm going to talk about, in the members tonight. So, yes, special thank you to my members. You really are the mainstay of my channel. Every Thursday night, we have an exclusive members live, where it's for members of the Spanish channel or of the crime channel. I put the comment. Now, you may not be able to see each other's comments, but I put them up on screen so you can see what the other people are saying. What else did I want to say about that? Oh, yeah. So tonight we're going to talk about my birthday. I'm going to show you pictures, etc., from my birthday. What else? And yeah, I want to talk about this Ted Bundy. What happened the other day? Again, I swear this man is haunting me. I must have given him an opening, like, to come in. But honestly, I'm not joking. I am being, just anyway. I'll explain tonight. So, what's the other thing that I had to get up on here? Yeah, Travis. Yeah, all the things that I had up ready to talk about, like Travis Decker. Oh, gone. Anyway, never mind. There was one where there was a bit I was going to have got. That's it. Right. Okay. I think I've sort of more or less got everything. So, yeah, thank you for the 3,000 subscribers. Over on that channel. Hopefully we'll get 5,000 subscribers on the Vicky Marie Chats channel before long, but thank you anyway. What else did I want to say with my waffle? Oh yeah, thank you to those of you who send me super stickers, who've bought me Ko-Fis. Thank you to people who've bought merchandise. Now, don't forget the merchandise, the Vicky Marie shop, Vicky Marie Chat shop is open, and it's on the Ko-Fi link. So if you go into the Ko-Fi link, there's a thing there for the shop. Thank you to all of you that have ordered any kind of merchandise. Right, okay. So yeah. Oh, I've got a little list. I had to write a list of, because otherwise I end up forgetting what I want to say. So yeah, I've talked about the members live tonight. I've talked about the subscribers. Oh, yeah, and the good news is here in Spain, because we've had this terrible heat wave, there's wildfires, but it's calming down now. It's only 24 degrees at the moment, but it's quite humid and balmy, but at least it's not. It was 45 degrees at the weekend. 45. God, and it was like living in an air fryer. Okay. I think that's about it that I needed to say about. I'll take my banner off. So I'm going to say hello to people now. So hello, lovely lurkers. Thank you for watching and subscribing, hopefully. Thank you, loathsome lurkers. Thank you, replay crew. Thank you so much. And now I'm going to come into the chat and say hello to all of you that are brave enough to enter into the chat. So, hi David, how are you all? Let us know how you all are this morning. Hi David, hi Lily, hi Darren. Wow, Joanne, hi Miss Lee. I think I said hello to Lily, didn't I? Thank you, Miss Lee. Thanks for the congratulations, everyone. Yeah. So I think first of all, we're just going to do this update on Travis Decker because it won't take long. It's sort of something we knew, but do you know what? I think it was hard for us to take on board, isn't it? Now, these are these lovely, I mean, honestly, You know, how can people hurt their own children? These girls frozen in time. Peyton, Olivia. Olivia, I always get mixed up which is the oldest and the youngest. So yeah, Olivia's the youngest, 5 years old. Peyton, 9 years old, and Evelyn, 8 years old. Just who could hurt them? Who, you couldn't imagine anyone could hurt them, but least of all, their own father. This absolute piece of shit. Sorry. I just, you know, you just hope he's suffering so much. People talking about, oh, that maybe he had PTSD because, I don't give a shit what he had. What he did to his girls. So he had them for, he had like it wasn't joint custody. He was allowed custody a couple of hours, and he took the girls off and never brought them back. And the mother of the girls, she had expressed her concerns about Travis's mental health many times, but she was bound by the court order to let him take them. I think it was only for a couple of hours. You know, she couldn't refuse. So again, you know, the authorities need to take responsibility, don't they? Because what Travis did, he did not take those girls home. He took them off to some national park, tied their hands behind their backs and put plastic bags over their heads. And then, you know, so the alarm went out from Whitney, the mother, and the police went looking. And, you know, I just feel for the police as well. Obviously, I feel for the girl's mother, because imagine losing all your children just like that, and in that horrible manner. And you've waved them off and said, have a good time. You've let them go with their dad because the court tells you have to do it. Otherwise, you'll get arrested. God, it just makes you so angry. But as well, imagine the trauma from the police coming across that site. You know, those police, they'll have had children of their own, many of them. And they've had to, you know, the trauma that this man has caused. God, you know, when he's found, I'm going to put him in the hellhole. He's not in the hellhole yet because he's not been found. So since then, since the bodies were found, Travis disappeared. And there's been occasional sightings of him that have turned out not to be him. I personally think he is deceased, but I'm not sure why they haven't found him. I would have thought he would have been nearby those girls. But maybe he has escaped because supposedly he's got some survival skills. He could be living in a bunker, you know, you just don't know, do you? So there's a possibility that he may be deceased, and that's what the police have said. They can't rule out the possibility that he's deceased. They can't rule out the possibility that he's still alive. But all that, you know, at the end of the day, can't be found. But the only update really that there's been is the fact that the police are doubling down on their assertion that it was only Travis. I think some of us, well, certainly me, we're sort of almost hoping that someone else had done it, because you can't believe that a father would do that, can you, to his own children? But no, let's just have a look at this video. Apparently, DNA found at the scene links him definitively now. You know, so doesn't seem that there's any chance that anybody else did it and then maybe killed him or whatever. He did it. He did it. Yeah. The blood profile, the blood found matches Decker's. And this was, remember, this was some door cam footage of him that was released. 5'8" tall with black hair, brown eyes. Last seen wearing a light shirt and dark shorts. And they've released a new suspect. Well, that was a while ago in June. There he is dancing to the music. Horrible man. So, is this the one that I had up with? Yeah, August the 19th.
State
This
senators
story
showing their
came
own
out.
emotion.
This tragedy
Hang on.
is going to impact future lives.
And pledging to move quickly with the House to push through bipartisan reforms.
Why
We
can't
need to have
turn
these
that
warning
on?
systems put in place. We need to have these monitoring systems put in place. There's a responsibility on all of us. And I hope people will hold government to account. Those 8-year-old
Why is
little
that
girls
not turning
stuck in a cabin because the adults around them failed. Because the adults around them failed.
It's really heartbreaking to hear that. Lawmakers hope to have the new legislation
I
on the
can't
governor's
turn that
desk
off.
before the weekend.
A wild scene.
Right, sorry, I've got to turn that. Why does that keep coming on? Let's go back to it. So I just want to tell you now about the DNA. God, just keeps, they're impossible to read sometimes, these articles. So authorities originally had not commented one way or another if Decker possibly had help, but now DNA shows he was the only one involved in the suffocation deaths of his daughters Peyton, Evelyn and Olivia. And samples from the multiple bags used in the murders were tested along with other evidence. And aside from the girls' profiles, Decker was the only other profile found. So according to the Chelan County Sheriff's Office, the completion of this DNA analysis provides additional evidence that indicates Travis is the only suspect in committing these homicides. That's what this article says. I need to share it again, actually. So for many, it's not the news they were hoping for, in that finding Decker is still the big priority of law enforcement, and he still remains at large with no new updates in the searches, which are ongoing, but it does prove, provided he is ever located, that he is the only suspect in this shocking murder. As of this new information, the search for Decker is now in its 78th day. So it's probably up to its 80th day now. So, yeah. Yeah. He did it, you know, as much as we don't want to believe that he did it, do we? It's horrible to think that he did it, that the father did it. I mean, it's horrible, you know, it's happened, it's horrible, whatever. There's just something, you know, it's like the Chris Watts, isn't it? It reminds me of Chris Watts. These girls, they trusted their dad, didn't they? They trusted him. They'll have gone off with him looking forward maybe to spending some time with him. Maybe they weren't looking forward to spending some time with him, but they had no choice because it was a court order. And off they went, trusting him. He's taken them to that national park and tied their hands behind their back and put bags over their heads. What sort of person is he? You know, it's like the twonk of twonks. You know, you just can't get any worse than that, can you? Those poor little girls. And of course, you know, he's a big guy, like ex-soldier. These three little girls, they didn't have a chance, apart from the fact he was their dad, and they would have been like, well, what's he doing, you know? So what a tosser, what a complete tosser. I hate this man so much, honestly, because anybody who does things to children is I hate anyway, but their own father, and people being sympathetic towards him, like, oh, well, he had PTSD, or bollocks. Don't care what he had. This man is a monster for what he's done to those girls. You cannot explain that with mental health issues. You can't. Loads of people have got PTSD, mental health issues. They don't murder. Three lovely little girls like that. It's pure spite. That's why he's done it, spite. Just a couple of days before, he'd asked their mum if she would get back together with him. And she said, no, that's why he's done it. Pure spite, nastiness. Doesn't want them to have a stepdad or whatever. Doesn't want them to be happy. You know, how dare they be happy without him? He's all that matters, isn't he? Just, you know, unfortunately, a lot of people do that. Take away people's children for spite. You know, if they can't have them. So there'll be two things they'll do. They'll either kill their partner that they can't have, or they'll kill the children just to make them suffer for the rest of their life, or both. You know, I think we have to not feel any sympathy. You know, and my natural inclination is always to feel sympathy for people or empathy, but I can't feel it for these perpetrators. I can't feel sorry for him. Can't think, oh, well, he must have been in a really bad place. No, he's a nasty, vengeful, spiteful piece of shit. And I hate him. And the sooner he's found, the better. And, you know, part of me wants him to be found deceased, just so that he's not wasting the air in this world. But then there's another part of me wants him, obviously, to be brought to account, brought to justice. People look him in the face and he sees what a shit he is, that Whitney gets a chance to tell him what a shit he is, the mother. And also, I feel for Whitney so much. She must be sleeping with one eye open at the moment. Because this man is at large. He could be anywhere. The police have no clue where he is. He could be out as we speak. He could be outside Whitney's door waiting for her to go to sleep or whatever. You know, this is what she's living with. I don't know if she's been taken to a safe place or given a bodyguard, police guard or whatever. She should have one, you know, because if he's killed these three girls, they're not going to stop short of killing her, is he? So, yeah, piece of shit, total piece of shit. God, I hope they do find him. I hope this isn't going to go on forever, you know, turn into one of those cases where they never find him or never get a resolution. You know, poor Whitney, imagine her life. So anyway, I just thought I'd give you that update. God, everything, all my camera's weird today. Never mind. Okay, so that's the update there. I know it's not much of an update, but just basically that nobody else had anything to do with it. It was all Travis. Good old Travis, Father of the Year, you know, absolute monster twonk. That is the update there. And of course, that case, if anything's ever found out, you know, if Travis is ever found or whatever, I'll be straight on to let you know what's happening. Now, sorry, I'm just going back to the chat. I hope you're all okay there in the chat. When I start going on about something, I lose the chat a bit. It's America, Joanne. Hi, Heather. You came on just as I was having a good rant. I could rant a lot more. I probably will be ranting again in a moment. So, yeah, this is what I mean. All these, like, people allowed to have children, you know, I say allowed, I mean, they have children. They don't appreciate. Children are a precious gift, and they might be irritating sometimes, especially as they get older. But, you know, they are a precious gift, and lots of people are desperate to have children and they can't have them. And then these sort of people make me so angry. They're blessed by being able to have children, to have three beautiful daughters like that. And how do they sort of react? Oh, yeah, let's murder him. Let's murder him. Idiots. Okay, so the next case, to be honest, is so similar, isn't it? You know, this is again a case of parents letting their child down. And I mean, this family, oh my God, the more you look into, as I was saying earlier, so this piece of shit, Harrow. Whether he's done anything to baby Emmanuel or not, he's still a piece of shit because of what he's done to a previous baby. So now, again, I need to warn you, the details you're going to hear, they're not nice. You know, they'll upset you. They certainly upset me this morning when I was watching this video. So he's 7 months old, this poor little boy, who looks like he's got some issues anyway. Now, are there issues that his father gave him? Because his father has got history in strangling babies. That's what he's been in prison for. Not for long, though. No. How long do you think you'd get in prison if you strangled your own baby and made them blind and gave them brain damage? What do you think of fit sentences? He got a couple of months. I mean, what the fuck? Sorry. What? You know, you imagine if he would have robbed a bank, he would have probably got, 20 years or something. He's killed. Well, he didn't kill the child, but the child needs 24-hour care for the rest of her life. She's been adopted by one of the relatives who are caring for her. She needs she's blind. She's got severe brain damage. For what this twat, sorry, I had to use the full word there, for what he did to her. How do you strangle a baby? You know, what sort of person? And I don't know if you've seen this, Jake. He's massive. He's like a brick shithouse. He's massive guy, big in all ways, tall, stocky, muscly. What a big man he is, that he strangles babies. Oh my God, what a big man he is. God, I bet if anyone's got button mushroom, it's him. Having said that, his button mushroom works because he's got 6 kids. God, it just makes me so mad. I can't even tell you how angry it makes me. So, anyway, it's all right. Listen, if we didn't have a sense of humour, sometimes we'd just break down. But yeah, he's a I hope when they arrest him, I hope it's going to be like the Stefan Stearns arrest. I hope we see him being humiliated, and believe me, if I get hold of any video of his button mushroom, I'll be showing it all over the internet, because the most that I can embarrass him, the better. Now, she's no different. The mother, I think, I keep thinking maybe because I'm just trying to make I don't know, just trying not to think the worst of her. Feel like maybe she's terrified of Jake, perhaps, but even so, as a mother, they know what happened to this baby. I don't care whether it's supposed to be allegedly or not allegedly or what. They did it. They know exactly what has happened to this baby, in my opinion. Not only in my opinion, but a lot of people's opinion. Now, what I'm going to show you now, because there was a lot when we talked about this the last time, we were talking about her black eye, because of course what this mother says is she was changing this little baby's nappy, and somebody said hola, and she turned around and she was punched in the eye and she went unconscious, and when she woke up, the baby had gone. Baby Emmanuel had gone. That's, you just straight away, they're thinking they're clever with that story. It's the shittest story you've ever heard, because generally people, I've said before, they don't kidnap babies. It's very unusual, like rare. 1 in a billion probably chance of a baby being kidnapped, and certainly a baby of a family who haven't got pot to piss in, so that no one's going to hold him up for ransom, are they? And also, say they'd kidnap this baby for trafficking purposes, or maybe it's somebody who can't have a baby. You do hear occasionally these horror stories of people that steal babies because they can't have babies, but this is supposed to be a man, but again, so very rare. And bless him, Emmanuel does seem to already have some issues, what I've noticed about me, never really see him sitting up. I know he's only 7 months old, but he's never even holding his head up. He's always lying flat. Seemed to me that maybe Jake's already had a go at this baby, or maybe the baby was born with some issues. So we were looking at her black eye. So she said she's got this black eye. So the very next day, she was on, making appeals for this baby, and she's got this black eye. Now, bear in mind, this is a day later. And we were talking about the other day, and one of my subscribers has sent in this, they said this was 2 days later for a black eye they got, not from being punched, but I can't remember where it was from now, actually. That was my black eye when I tripped and banged my head on the side of the bath on the first day of the COVID lockdown. Cracked my eye socket. I think actually I may have even broken my nose here. I've never been for an x-ray because at the time, I'd say it was the first day of COVID lockdown. The hospitals were chaos, and I just didn't even go for an x-ray or anything. And it gave me a cataract because, you get she should get checked for a cataract, because that's what they were telling me, that if, trauma, cataracts, you bang your face, bang your eye socket. Because apparently everybody over the age of 50 has got cataracts. But of course, cataracts normally take quite a long time to develop. So it might be 70 before you have any problems with it. But because I banged myself, so it accelerated the growth of the cataract. So I've got a little bit of a cataract in the other eye, but I'd say that could be another 20 years before I need that operated on. But this one accelerated. I had to have it removed because I couldn't see properly out of that eye. And I had it removed, and it's fine. Now, she should have herself checked for cataracts, because if that's Jake who's punched her in the face like that, or even if if a story, which it isn't, in my opinion, is true, somebody's punched her in the face, in the eye, then maybe she should get a checkup for that. So what do you think? Now, mine was a couple of days later, but I think it's quite similar to hers. And the one of my subscriber, again, it's just this, that was 2 days after they fell. Remember, this is supposed to be 1 day later. Anyway, this is the healing that they say on the internet, that immediately after an injury, it would be like this pinky colour. Then it goes like the purpley, and then after I think hers is 5 to 10 days. If you look at those, to me, it's the 5 to 10 days it looks more like. Same as mine. Mine was 5 to 10 days. I can't remember when I took mine, unfortunately. But anyway, we don't know. I would think a doctor could maybe see. I don't know. And then, of course, there's rumours going around the social media and everything that she already had that black eye. Ages ago, she went to a funeral or something and wore sunglasses. So personally, I believe that story. It doesn't look to me like something that happened the evening before. So remember, that was supposed to have happened, I think, was it about 10 o'clock in the evening? And then the following day, she's right there doing these interviews and showing off this black eye. I mean, you can almost imagine them planning it, can't you, what they were going to do? Oh, I know, you've got that black eye, that'll fit in with it, won't it? That somebody punch you in the eye and kidnap the baby. And then apparently they went to the place where she was changing the nappies. They picked a place where there was no lighting, no CCTV, etc. So it's this dodgy, the whole story is as dodgy as they come, isn't it? Now, the first thing I want to say, though, as well, before we carry on, is it's possibly true, and if it turns out that this story is true, I mean, that's terrible what they're going through, of course. But I don't think people would be quite so nasty about Jake if it wasn't for the fact that he'd already strangled a baby and given them life-changing brain damage. He's done it before. The thought of how he was ever allowed around children again, honestly, I cannot get that into my thick head. How Child Protective Services decided that this man, after what he'd done to one baby, should be allowed around other babies. Is it me? Am I thick or what? Anyway, so we're going to have a look at this video from News Nation with Ashley Banfield, first of all. And as I say, be very aware. The details are upsetting, very upsetting.
Despite that statement, it is day 6 of a desperate search for a 7-month-old baby boy named Emmanuel Harrow. And the details that we've just learned about the baby's father and his criminal past, absolutely hair-raising. The number of children that have been moved out of the Harrow home into the custody of others is nothing short of alarming. Let me take you back for a moment. Baby Emmanuel was reported missing last Thursday. His mother, Rebecca Harrow, claimed that a stranger approached her from behind, said, "Hola," and then knocked her unconscious. She says when she woke up, baby Emmanuel was gone, right there in the parking lot, gone. But according to investigators, Rebecca's story didn't add up all the way. Rebecca refused a lie detector test, and both she and her husband have stopped cooperating with the police, the authorities say.
I mean, how many red flags do you need? So they've refused to take a lie detector test. Now, the thing is, whenever a child goes missing, obviously the parents are suspects. That is, I think we more or less realise that, don't we? That is, par for the course. And if it was your child, you would want to cooperate as much as possible. Just get this, because you'd have nothing to hide. Would you? Do you know what I mean? You'd have nothing to hide. So you would cooperate. Well, she's not cooperating now. Once they started challenging her story, they stopped cooperating. She stopped cooperating. Also, she won't take a lie detector test. That's a red flag, because I know a lie detector test doesn't mean anything in one way, because it's not admissible in court. But, and it's not 100%, obviously. But it has been instrumental, hasn't it, in catching people like Chris Watts. For example, he crumbled, didn't he, when he failed his lie detector test? He thought he could pass it. And then you've got other famous cases, if you like, or infamous cases, like Sebastian Rogers. All his parents, like his mum, biological mum and dad, and his stepdad, they've all taken lie detector tests and passed. And apparently even little Jack and Lily Sullivan, who are missing, their parents and their stepdad have taken lie detector tests. This mother won't take a lie detector test. Well, I'm sorry, I would.
To be clear, there have been no charges filed against Jake or Rebecca Harrow. And Jake's attorney insisted right here on this show last night that his client, Jake Harrow, is cooperating, despite that statement from the police suggesting otherwise. Tonight it is Jake's past, however, that is becoming a lot more worrisome. Yesterday, we learned about his felony child cruelty conviction, the one that put him in jail for 6 months back in 2023. Both Jake and his ex-wife, Vanessa.
6 months. 6 months for strangling a baby and leaving her blind and with brain damage, life-affecting brain damage. She's never going to get better. I think she's 9 now. Anyway, Ashley's going to tell us about it. But 6 months, that's what a baby's life is worth.
Vanessa Ala pleaded guilty to the charges, and tonight we have learned that crime was committed against his own 10-week-old baby girl, a child who survived, but
10 weeks old. 10 weeks old. You know, let that sink in for a minute. This man is a monster, whether he's had anything to do with Emmanuel disappearing or not. He's already a monster. He should not be around children. It's like living in a parallel universe, isn't it? Even thinking that he could be around children. I just want to take his glasses off and punch him right in the face. Honest to God, I know, sorry, I'm just so angry with these people. He's built like a brick shithouse, and he strangles babies.
suffered horrendous lifelong injuries. We've got photos of the child, and I should tell you that the family has given us permission to show those photos, likely as a warning about Jake Harrow. But I do want to tell you this. When we show you those photos, they are quite disturbing. So fair warning in advance. Here is the little girl in her hospital bed, 10 weeks.
Right. Sorry. I just want to warn you, because you might want to fast forward, because, well, you can just see, look at that little mite. How could he?
Old. She is recovering here from several fractures to her ribs, to her skull, and to her legs. She is also recovering from a brain hemorrhage. This little girl was eventually removed from the Harrow home, and she was adopted by one of Vanessa's cousins. That cousin has cared for this little girl and even renamed her. Her new name is Promise Faith. According to the cousin,
Promise Faith. So this cousin that has taken on this little girl, now I say I think she's 9 now. Just seeing the size of that baby, you just think, what the fuck? You know, like, oh, and why? Yeah, exactly, Heather. Why do women like him? Why do they like him? I mean, he's not exactly, you know, God's gift to women, is he? And maybe they don't know, because apparently he's, you know, he likes to spread it about a bit at work as well. He's got women are falling for him all over the place. Why? Come on, women, what's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? Oh, God. You know, this little baby, a little tiny little baby, no more than a doll, just weeks old. And he thinks he's a, you know, big man. Oh, he's such a big man, he can murder babies.
Promise is now 7 years old, but take a look at this picture.
No.
The damage that she suffered from those injuries was permanent.
Oh.
Promise was left blind. Promise was left unable to walk. Promise was left unable to talk and unable to swallow due to strangulation.
But she was left unable to swallow due to strangulation. And that man was allowed to live with other children. What is wrong with them? What is wrong with the authorities? What did they think? What did they think it was an accident, strangling a baby? Oh, it's not like you drop a baby on the floor and or you know, they fall off the bed, or I don't know. He strangled her. That doesn't. Oh, just accidentally put his hands out around her neck, did he? God, I'm scandalized, absolutely scandalized by this.
We are told from this cousin that Promise has 3% brain function, that Promise needs a feeding tube, and that Promise will need round-the-clock care for the rest of her life. So let's just contemplate this as you see these pictures. Jake Harrow, who beat this child, received 6 months in jail.
6 months, a big 6 months in jail. Oh my God. Well, I hope he bumps into some bad characters in jail, not little babies. I wonder how tough he is when he's up against proper prisoners. Like, they don't like people who abuse children, do they? Especially not their own children. So I hope he had a few beatings. It's just a shame he survived it, really. But 6 months, for fuck's sake.
And probation afterwards. The same cousin who adopted this little girl, Promise, also took in Jake's oldest son, who she says was born with fetal alcohol syndrome.
So then we've got so this cousin who sounds like a bloody saint, to be honest, because this girl, bless her, she won't be easy to look after. She's going to need looking after for her whole life. She's never recovering. She's blind. She's got brain damage. She can't walk properly. She can't swallow properly. And when I look at these pictures of this little one, they remind me of the pictures of Emmanuel. He's sort of like lying that. I wouldn't be surprised if Emmanuel hadn't already suffered abuse from Jake. So then they're saying, so this cousin has taken in another child of his who apparently was born with fetal alcohol syndrome. I mean, these are the family of the fucking year, aren't they? They're as far away from the Waltons that you could imagine. They're like the bloody, what was that other horrible, the Turpin family or something. There's just, oh my God, my God, my God, my God. I hope all their children have been taken away now. She's an idiot, the wife. I don't want to believe that she's done anything to Emmanuel, but she knows exactly. So she's just as guilty. She'll know exactly what's happened to Emmanuel. And I expect Jake has her terrorized. She probably is terrified of Jake. But you know what? If that was me, and supposing I was in an abusive relationship like that, that's your opportunity to get out of it, isn't it? You go to the police, you tell them what's happened. He's locked away forever. If it's ends up being a murder. Having said that, is she too scared because she's thinking he'll get out like last time and he'll come after me? But anyway, still, nothing should stop you from reporting the murder of your child, your baby. So, or is she just so terrified of Jake? I mean, he is pretty terrifying, you can see. Though he's braver with little babies than he is with grown adults, isn't he? But, he is a big guy. He's a big guy. I bet Rebecca has been at the receiving end of his violence many, many times.
That child was named after his father, Jake, but the cousin also renamed the little boy. His new name is Carlos. And now this same cousin who has taken in 2 of Jake Harrow's children, one that Jake Harrow beat.
I mean, look at the size of him, because she's quite, I don't know if she's tall, but she's quite a substantial woman. He's massive in every way. They sat there looking at her like, yeah, they've probably prepared their story.
Into a lifelong condition. Another that was born with fetal alcohol syndrome. Now this cousin is caring for a 3rd child removed from the Harrow home just this week.
Oh.
A 2-year-old child was taken out of Jake and Rebecca's.
Now a 2-year-old child's been taken out of their care. Well, do you know what they need to do? They need to get, when they do get hold of her as well, they need to bloody, she should be met. Honestly, I'm sorry, it's probably contentious, but when somebody has had so many children been taken off them due to, she should be sterilised, should be forced, maybe as part of having a lighter sentence or whatever. She shouldn't be allowed to have children because she's not looking after them. Not talking about 1 child or 2 or, loads. I don't know how many children hers, but you know, are people just supposed to just carry on having children to abuse? They're not playthings. You know, it's not like just something drastic has got to be done, because, you know, being nice to everyone's not working.
Care.
That's what I think anyway. I probably get cancelled for thinking it, but that's what I think. Okay, so now we're going to have a look at some of the bits and bobs that have been on Twitter about this. I mean, the police haven't arrested anybody still. You know, they're investigating, but the police have said they're not cooperating. But Jake's lawyer says he is cooperating. Hi, Michelle. That's 5 too many, isn't it? If she's got 5 children, that's definitely 5 too many, in my opinion. God, those poor kids. You know, children on what's the word? They're not an accessory. They're not something to have for benefits or for, you know, to try and keep your partner that nobody else wants anyway. You know, they're not there for that. They're lives in their own right. If you have a child, you are responsible for that child forever, really, because you bring the child into the world. The child doesn't come into the world voluntarily. The child doesn't say, oh, come on, you know, have a child, have me. You decide to have that child one way or another, especially in these times, because if people don't, you know, even if they find out they're pregnant by accident, they do have a choice whether they have the child or not. So once you have that child, you are responsible. Of course you are. You are always their parent, no matter how old they get, really. It never stops. It gets harder, doesn't it? But that's the way it is. You've chosen to be a parent. They haven't chosen to be a child, you know. So, and then when somebody shows such blatant disregard for the welfare of their children, in my opinion, they shouldn't be allowed to have any more. Maybe we should bring back chastity belts. You know, maybe when, I mean, I'm sort of making it, but I'm not really joking. You know, God, I mean, they should not be allowed to have more children. That's what I think. Just to have, it's like with animals or whatever. If you have pets and you abuse them and you kill them or you torture them, you get banned from having pets, don't you? You know, that's how it should be. Oh, I'm going to try and stop ranting, but it's difficult. So let's have a look at Steve Fisher on Twitter, because he's one of my favourite investigators. He doesn't have a YouTube channel, but he has his Twitter thing, and he's put on some really interesting things. Look what he says here. Oh, hang on, I'm not sharing. Oh, God. What did I do there? I think I left. Yeah, cool. Now I've got 2 of me in here. What am I going to do? Right, am I echoing? Am I echoing? I don't know if I am. No, it's been all nightmare as far as, right, I've got to turn that off. I don't know if I'm going or not. I feel like I've made a little cock up here somehow. Everything technical's gone wrong this week. It's Ted Bundy's fault. I'm sort of in duplicate. I don't know what to do. Let's try this. What about now? Anyway, I think you can hear me okay. Let's have a look. So, Steve Fisher investigates, and he says that Jay Arrow's attorney claims that law enforcement dug holes in the backyard. But he says it's not true because he scanned the property with a drone for signs of digging and there were not. So he says the lawyer is lying. So that's one thing he says. So apparently, am I echoing? Tell me if I'm echoing or not. I just don't know. Yeah, yeah. I've ended with 2 of me on there. I'm going to have to finish the stream. Sorry. I'm going to have to finish it. I'll be back on late. I don't know what to do about it. Is this Ted Bundy's fault? Anyway, I'm going to go. I'll be back later to talk more about it. Until I see you again, may your God go with you. Bye.